Good morning. You are listening or watching the Citizen Bodycast. My name is Suzanne Hill. I am your host, and this is the podcast of the Citizen Body. We are here today with Sharia Wallace. And Sharia, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. I'm so glad to be here with you right now in this space, and I'm so grateful for you for this platform. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we're, I'm in my dining room and you are in your store space, which I think is beautiful. We were, honestly, usually when we do these podcasts, I'm looking around to say, okay, what shouldn't we show? And then I'm looking at your space and going, what can we show? What's the best angle? Because there were so many good things happening. I was like, we got to find some, I can't pick. It was a good problem to have, right?
Yes, thank you so much. I painted the store with a few friends of mine, and every single detail of the store is personalized and down to the furniture. I had a friend who built my furniture, my friend and my husband.
Even the couch that you're sitting on too?
No, not the couch.
So more the tables and the displays.
Yeah, we're getting to that. We will learn how to build furniture, but we're not there yet. But from the walls and the floor, I have to show you the floor at some point. The floor is completely painted. Everything is really just unique, and it's a reflection of everyone who helped put it together.
Awesome. Yeah. So you are an artist. So that's what brings you to us today, is you are an artist. What mediums do you work in?
Well, most artists are multifaceted, but my business is based off of my painting. So I'm a writer. My husband is a musician. We delve into all facets of art, but I paint. I'm a painter.
Awesome. How long have you been painting?
A few years. I'd say about 3 years. It started as a form of therapy and meditation to decompress. My husband and we have 5 children, and I needed something to get me to sit still. I became so enamored with chaos that I began to not know how to function without it. So, if someone babysat our children and the house was empty, I had no idea what to do. I couldn't sit still. So yes. I actually started painting as meditation and realized that I'm pretty good at it. And that's where
awesome. So you really kind of more fell into art as a form of an outlet versus like, I know when I was a kid, we always go to like the park and rec center, and maybe you'd like take Saturday morning classes and you'd learn how to paint, and you learned a little bit about art. And when I was a kid, I always thought I was good at it. And then it's one of those things where it kind of falls away, like other interests happen and you appreciate things, but you're not creating anymore. And then to see somebody as an adult who can pick up and just go with it, that's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm not trained. And sometimes I think that's a good thing, because a lot of my friends who have gone to art school for years and years, they say there's so many technical things that you learn, it almost takes away from the natural side of your imagination. So I oftentimes compare myself to classically trained artists, and we both envy one another, because there's so many things that I'd like to learn, and there's so many things that they know, but we kind of have this bond and this exchange. So I really love it.
Now, when you paint, do you paint like oil painting, watercolor? Like what's your medium?
I use acrylic on canvas.
Okay. And then like maybe there's something like, if maybe a friend could teach you about like something about the paint or blending the paint, but it's probably a lot more fun when you figure it out on your own.
It is, but I do like to save time. So if there's a shortcut, please let me know so I don't go around the long way. I have a friend who goes by the name of Truvidian, and he is an amazing artist. I am his #1 fan, and he teaches me small techniques. For instance, using my makeup brush to blend certain colors together. And
Okay.
once he taught me, I was like mind blown. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I could have, because he has these pictures where it's like perfectly blended. And I had no idea how he accomplished that, because I've tried with a typical paintbrush and I couldn't get the same texture. And when he told me he used makeup brushes, baby, I went out and bought some pretty makeup brushes, and it changed the way I painted. So there are tips and tricks that people can give me, which I'd rather them tell me than take a year to figure it out on my own. Things
Yeah.
like, I'm a lover of wisdom and knowledge, and I'm not a fool. So
Yeah.
I do not want to take the long way all the time. I prefer a little bit of assistance if it's available.
Yeah. And you're also telling me that you also are a writer.
Yes, I love writing. Writing is my first love since
Okay.
I was a child. So I have so many books, and I was in Clubhouse last night and I read an excerpt from one of my books. Where's your book? Where can we buy it? Where can we buy it? And I said, well, it's not finished yet. So I think I'm going to delve into that once the store gets on its feet. I think I'm really going to take time to finish my works of art, literally, in literature.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little about your store. So you're going to your stores, we're not open yet. And again, this podcast, we're not quite sure when it's going to air. So you might be open by the time we're having this conversation. But as of our conversation, you are not yet open, but you will be soon.
No, we are open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we are functional. We had a soft open for which we did not advertise due to COVID and due to working out certain kinks in the store and me being a new store owner. I wanted it to begin as somewhat of a slow clap.
Okay.
So I wanted to ease into it and let people know that we were here, let the neighborhood get accustomed to our presence. And so we are open, we are fully functional, but we have not had our grand opening as of yet.
Okay. Okay. So you are open. So you're in Willow Grove.
Yes, I'm at 60 North York Road in Willow Grove. I'm diagonal from the Willow Grove train station. I'm directly across the street from I believe it's called the Station Luxury Condos. I'm
Okay.
directly across the street from the condos.
Okay. And for people who are not local, we can find an online presence as well to shop, correct?
Not yet, but that's
okay. That's
coming
not
soon.
yet.
That's the part that's coming soon. This month, we will be starting to shop online, or sell online rather. I really wanted an old school feel, something that was different from other stores. And I wanted to refrain from going online, but I realized that there are so many people, whether they're elderly or sickly or, they live far, that really could benefit from an online shop. So I've since decided to build an online store reluctantly, but I'm still excited. To expand our customer base. So we will be online. There's something special about, I guess, me growing up. There were certain stores in certain places where you knew the owner, you could go in, you could speak to them, everyone's families knew one another, and you just kind of had to be there. And that's what I felt like I was building. That's what I did build. You kind of have to come in and see the vibrance of the space and see everything that's come together. And so that's why I was reluctant to do the online store, but we will be embarking on the online store this month.
Yeah, because I mean, and I'm looking at your space, and I agree with you. I enjoy walking into a place. I don't want to buy clothes online. I need to try them on, or I need to see them in person. I need to say this is going to look good on me, or, oh, I got to stay away from that, but it might look great on the model online. So, you tend to buy it and then you try it on and you go, oh, this was a mistake, so there's something beautiful about getting that experience when you walk into a place, and especially something that is your area, your space is just really, it looks like you. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
And
I was
the
gonna
types of products
yeah,
that you're like we were talking a little bit earlier too. You're also, it's not luxury items, it's items that are for every day that people really do need. It's not, there's a lot more to your store than meets the eye.
oh, absolutely. I would disagree slightly though, because they are luxury items. These are items made from the best ingredients, all natural
Mhm.
ingredients. These are handcrafted. It's not made in a factory, mass distributed with, ingredients that you can't pronounce and different chemicals that you have no idea what they are.
Yeah,
Um, I really believe in putting the best in our bodies and on our bodies. And
yeah,
we promote wellness, all around wellness, from the time you walk in the door and you smell the incense and you see the vibrance, it appeals to your senses. And then just the warmth, the energy, and the connection, and feeling welcomed. And then you get to choose these great products while you're supporting other local brands and really financially investing in your community. It's just all around for the benefit of the whole, of the collective.
mhm,
Which brings me to the citizen body, because that is literally the foundation of my dream, of my vision.
yep. And in the citizen body, we part of what we believe in there is there are 8 things that unite us as human beings, and the item that we are focusing on today with you is the desire to create. And you've created a space. And when I was saying luxury items, I think of a luxury item as something that I don't need. You are
Gotcha.
selling things
Okay.
that we do need, that people do need, and they're made with finer ingredients. And then that, to me, then that is not a luxury, that is a necessity. It's something that I should be looking towards.
You're
um
right.
yeah, we were talking about drugstore brands, and just going in and buying something off the shelf, and what may work for me may not necessarily work for you. And
Absolutely. There's definitely a disparity in the kinds of products that are made available. And I know that the citizen body is about the whole.
yeah,
And so for people of color, there are not a lot of brands that cater to what we need. And it's not a matter of separating us, it's just a matter of delving into the science behind who we are, because there is definitely a science there. And for a very long time, a lot of the funding and the research, the scientists focus on the primary target market and people who had the means to purchase certain products, which for a long time were Black people were not included in that.
yeah,
So most of the research that has gone into skincare and hair care, it was not centered around the needs of people of color. So now that we are learning more, and that there's a surge in African American and Hispanic and Asian doctors and people who are interested in building these products that are good for us, um, I see a lot of people getting what they need now that we didn't have before. And my daughter, who's 9, suffers from severe eczema. And it wasn't until she was about 6 that we also realized that she also has severe allergies. She's allergic to every grass, tree, animal. So she literally is
oh,
having allergic reactions on top of the severe eczema. And we had no idea what to do. And the doctors were prescribing her these steroids and these vanishing creams, or creams with bleach in it. And it literally stripped her melanin. And I know that their goal was to smooth her skin and to get her to not itch and for her skin not to be dry. But they never really took into consideration, there was never a conversation about her brown skin turning white. And so
yeah,
now she has a combination of brown and white skin. And it just really is heartbreaking, because no one thinks that's important. That's not a conversation that I see happening. And for people, you and I spoke previously about the differences in our hair. It's not a matter of black versus white. There's a distinct difference in the porosity of our hair, the oils in our hair, the diameter of our hair strand. So there is a science to it, but when you spend 100 years and millions of dollars studying your hair opposed to my hair, then we end up with products that don't benefit me. So I really want to invest in the brands and then the smaller companies that are putting money behind that, because that's something that I believe in. I believe in equality in every single way, and we deserve science to acknowledge melanin. You know. So I really, but the products I have are for everyone. They are natural, and I do want to get away from the chemicals. So we have, from castor oil, coconut oil, grapeseed oil, we have raw black soap, shea butter, just basic natural ingredients that are so much better for us than the products that you might find distributed through a warehouse and mass produced.
Yeah. And it's funny too, like, as we were talking about hair, I've like, you don't think that much changes, but then something that unites us is our hair is very different. But one thing that's the same about it is you and I are going to age, and we already have aged. And as we age, are the products that we used previously as good for us as they were? Do we need to be focusing more on, what to do? Like, I know, like, for me and my hair care, when I was young, I was an athlete. I washed my hair every single day because I sweat every time. And I was like, wow, I've got this, oily mess of hair. And then somebody finally told me, they said, try to cut down your washing of your hair and it's going to be less oily. And I was like, I'm like, no, I'm Italian. That's not the oil isn't going anywhere. And then I gave it a try, and I said, all right, this is hard, but I'm going to do every other day. And then it turned into every third day. And now I wash my hair once to twice a week. And guess what? It's not oily. And, it was the right thing to do. And now, I see a lot of commercials or advertisements that pop up for me on social media. They're showing the women with gray hair. All of those women are white. And they're talking about how wonderful it is and how they use this product or this vitamin and it makes their hair wonderful. And it normalizes the texture and that they can look lovely with that beautiful white hair. And I'm like, well, I would just look like if I walked in to my daughter's daycare picking her up, they'd be like, oh, did grandma show up today? Like, I can't do that yet. I'm not quite there. But what can I do to, enhance the way that I look and still keep it age appropriate? And I would think that that's a battle that you know what I mean? You may fight a different battle, but it's the same one that happens as we age.
I have to admit that I have found a few grays, but I have this, I don't know, this a delusion that I'm going to look like Storm. But that's more so if it's all gray, not really if there's like 5 of them. So I'm working on dealing with my own reality in that situation.
Yeah.
But I think there's so many different ways in which we need to figure out what's best for us. I mean, how many times do we see, deodorant? I believe there's now warnings if you have, I don't know if it's kidney. If you have kidney issues, there's certain deodorants you shouldn't use. There's so many chemicals. How many breast cancers come from you're putting this chemical right near your breast tissue? And then there's a surge of breast cancer. And we're wondering why. There's these products, there are companies that don't care what, believe it or not, they don't really care what happens to you and what you put in your body as long as you pay them their $17 a month. for their
Mhm.
product and you keep coming back. So if we can change that, to supporting a local business that gives you a product that's actually good for you, products that from people who actually care about you in the same price range that won't give you these long-term effects, and you are supporting small businesses. You're not supporting these CEOs that are making billions of dollars and they don't care what happens to the community, whether it's industrial moving in or if it's gentrification or whatever it is. They don't care about the community. So
Yeah.
we need to build up our community and really help one another, because at the end of the day, if we do have this union, I mean, if I was your neighbor and your roof caved in, you support Walmart for a decade. Walmart's not going to come help you with your roof. If
Yeah.
you supported me, it's like, oh my gosh, it's one of my customers. I have the relationship with her. Let me help her. Let me get the community involved. Let's find someone to build it. I'll put up half the money. Let's raise half the money. What happened to that? That is what I want to get back to, you know?
Yeah. And I think at the citizen body, one of the things that we have talked about before is like the shop small, vote small. When we're doing things like that, we're building and we're investing in a community. We're not, like the big box realtors or realtors. I'm sorry, the big box. What am I thinking? What's the word I'm trying to think of? Big
I
like
don't know.
sell
I was thinking
retailers.
okay.
Big box retailers, when they're, like you said, they don't care about the community. They don't know the community. Their driver may be a member of the community who's dropping something off at your doorstep that you were ordered 12 hours ago, and you have that wonderful convenience. It's really nice, but really, what's it doing for your neighbor, like the neighbors next door? What's it
And I
doing
didn't mean
for?
to speak badly about Walmart. I was just using that as a hypothetical. I was just using that as a hypothetical situation. Hey, Walmart.
Yeah.
But you do have large companies who, I'm not speaking about Walmart, but you do have large companies that have employees. The employees don't have health insurance. The employees are getting wages that are beneath, the cost of living.
Yeah.
So when you have the employees, the people who keep these businesses running, you have the people who build these companies up and secure it. You have security guards protecting the merchandise. You have cashiers staying up all night long, staying after their shift, working back-to-back shifts, making sure that this machine works well, and they can
Yeah.
barely feed their families. So what makes you think as a customer that they care about you if they don't even care about the people who are running their companies? It's
Yeah.
really sad, actually. And I don't mean to segue, but the show is about the store, well, about my artwork. So my vision for the store is, one, a place for artistry and a place for individuality for people to come together and be themselves. Two, to build up local brands and businesses and highlight them and get them as much business as possible. And three, I'd like to, as we grow, have paid internships for our youth. So that way they can graduate high school and say, I ran a store, I was the manager, I know how to do invoices, inventory, I made $10 an hour, this is how much I'm worth. I want to build a place where they can get the experience and they can get the base pay, so that way they can start their own businesses if they want to, or if they
Yeah.
do decide to work for another company, they get what they're worth. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like we have to teach one another self-worth. We have to teach each other that we love each other, we support each other, and that you're worth it.
Yeah. And also teaching our younger folks work ethic, because
Right.
I would think that when you go to work for some of these just larger corporations, you're trained by a training manual, a training video that is, just made for anybody to, what I mean, that anybody could pick up on it. You don't learn the nuances of, customer service. Like they might teach you a few acronyms about, like smile, greet the customer, this, that, and the
Right.
other thing.
Right.
And then, but what are they teaching about a product, like, you could work at one of those big box chains or one of those and learn how to operate a cash register and sell whatever it is that the customer wants. But when you come to work at a store like yours, you need a heck of a lot more knowledge about the products and, what's
Right.
behind them. And, even just, talking about, a painting on the wall, you're selling not only artwork, you're selling products that somebody is using for themselves. And, what is it that makes this special? Why would I shop here versus just going to the convenience or clicking a button online and having it show up at my doorstep 8 to 12 hours later?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we go forward, my vision of the store, which I'll be working on very soon, I wanted you to come in and see 50 different faces. Like, I want to make these small placards where the business owner's face and like a QR code for their website and something about them. Because I have fire hot sauce. I love the hot sauce. The gentleman who makes it, oh gosh, he's such an amazing kid. And he's Dominican and he has a wife and he has kids. And I get to see his children and I get to know who he is. And everyone who has products in my store has a story. I'm bringing all these stories together. And when you think about it on this like molecular level of everyone having their own journeys, all these twists and turns and the terrible things that happen to us and the great things that happen to us. And no matter what, all of us ended up in the same place at the same time,
Yeah.
bringing our creativity, bringing our experiences, bringing everything that is us to one place. And we help each other, we mentor each other, we talk about our products with one another. And it really is powerful. Some people believe in energies and bringing energies together. Just when you bring ambitious, creative, hardworking people and you put them in under one roof, it's not just the colors and the flavors and the smells. Like, I sit and I'm in awe of my journey intersecting with everyone else's journey and being able to be a part of it, just to be a part of their story. It's amazing to me.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I don't think we got the chance to highlight, that your store is not just your painting, your products, you're importing something from another place that you believe in, but it's also other artists and other people.
Right.
And much like the Citizen Body, where it's a collective of very different individuals, that's what you're striving to attain under your roof as well.
Absolutely. The story of how I obtained this store, because I didn't set out, I didn't say, oh, I'm going to pray and I'm going to save up $100,000 and I'm going to have a store. That it didn't happen that way. I actually stopped painting for a while because the only space that I used to paint was my front porch. And I would make these grand masterpieces. And because I didn't have storage, I didn't have really a safe space, a lot of my paintings would get ruined. And I said, man, I'm not going to keep spending hours painting and things are getting ruined. I don't have a place. And I told God, I said, I don't want to paint anymore, but I don't want to waste this talent. I'm praying, give me a space. And so my neighbor / best friend called me. She said, I'm talking to this guy. He owns a building. And I think I found you an art studio. Come over. And I'm in my pajamas. Like, I got the kids running around. So I'm like, yeah, get his number. I'll call him another time. And I swear I got off the phone and immediately, God, my spirit was just like, go, just go. So I called her back. I said, tell him don't go anywhere. I'll be there in 5 minutes. I like threw some clothes on. And I saw the space and I immediately walked in and I said, this is not just for me. Like, I could not see myself here by myself painting and just selling my art. That seems so, I don't know what the term is. It just seems like it would have been mundane. It would have not been productive. Like, as soon as I saw the space, I had a vision for everyone.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about me at that point. And so I still need an art studio.
And
I
it brings us
decided,
to the fact that I don't think we've even mentioned the name of your store, which is I Saw
oh,
Vision.
I saw visions.
Yes.
I saw visions, just how it sounds. And it literally, yeah, speaks for itself. I mean, our slogan is one vision can change the world. And literally, I've seen it throughout history. And I want to be a part of that change, that butterfly effect. Um, I want to be a part of bringing people together and building this ladder and this platform. So, yeah, I saw visions. Come visit
Yes.
me.
Yep. So it's I Saw Visions, and you're in Willow Grove on, I think you said 60 York Road, Old York Road?
60 North York Road, Willow
North
Grove,
York Road.
PA 19090. Yes.
Yep. And eventually we will find you online for the folks who can't come
Yes.
out, especially in COVID times and pandemic. You know, it seems like most businesses to survive do need to have the online presence, just because not everybody
Right.
feels that they can safely get out. But hopefully that's going to change and things will go back to what we consider a normal, or at least a version of it.
Yeah, we can try. I do. So right now we're not online, but you can find pictures and videos of the store if you're interested on Facebook, facebook.com/isawvisions. I'm also on Instagram under I Saw Visions. But we are open Wednesday to Saturday. We're open
Okay.
we're open from 12 in the afternoon to 6 p.m. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then Saturday, we're open 12 to 8. Now,
Okay.
we have limited hours right now until the grand opening, but also because you can schedule private shopping hours with me. If you make a deposit of $25, I'll come in and you'll have 45 minutes by yourself to just walk around the store and be by yourself because of COVID. And that deposit goes towards your purchase. So we also do curbside pickup. You can make orders with me directly if you see something on one of our pages. I can email invoices. So we are finding some ways to help with COVID, because I clean before and after each customer comes in, and we're trying to make allowances, but we're not going to be open full time until the grand opening, which our grand opening is for Juneteenth. So for people who are not familiar, Juneteenth is, I guess you could say, the 4th of July for people of color, because during Independence Day, there were still people of color enslaved. So it's our Freedom Day for people of color. If people are not familiar, just Google Juneteenth and research. I don't want to divert from our conversation, but I do want people to know the significance in Juneteenth. It's definitely a day of liberation. So I thought that would be symbolic to open up my store and have the grand opening for Juneteenth. So just a little plug.
Juneteenth is actually in June. Do you know?
June 19th.
June 19th. Okay, I knew it was in the teens. I just didn't remember which one. And I mean, to be honest, I really only heard about it in the last few years.
It's not widely known, which is, I think, pretty sad that we don't really get to delve into our history. So that's exactly why I like to do my grand opening on that day, especially to bring awareness. I mean, I want to have signs and balloons and fireworks and everything. And I'd like to start an annual celebration. I mean, because everyone knows about 4th of July. And maybe only a 15th of our population knows about Juneteenth. And I think that it's really important for everyone to know, the richness of our history and the accuracy of timeline. So.
And then also just kind of getting back to you and your artistry, what types of what inspires you?
That's funny, because actually as a painter, I don't have a style of painting. I literally could show you 20 different pieces that are 20 different techniques, 20 different types of paintings because I literally paint how I feel.
Okay.
I've done all my pieces show a different, like a different range of emotions. Um, I don't know. You guys are just gonna have to come in and see my art.
Well, yeah, I was thinking when we were, we're talking about different products and everything, and I was thinking, okay, maybe there are some types of products that I could use. And when you mentioned hot sauce, I'm like, I know I could drag my partner down there tomorrow if we were if it wasn't, there's a lot of snow and ice out right now, but I'm like, I know I could get him to come shopping with me because he'd be after the hot sauce. There literally there's something for everybody.
I can't. Yeah, I can't wait till you come. And the sea moss is selling like crazy. The flavored sea moss, which is so good for you. If you don't know about sea moss, Google that too. I'm just going to give you things to Google because I don't want to take up all your time for your viewers.
Yeah.
We have so many things. We have 3 authors so far. There's going to be 3 more signing on in the next week. Just looking around, we have note cards, holiday cards, candles. I have merchandise that's imported from Nigeria and also from Ghana. So when we talk about one vision changing the world, a small tidbit is, in Nigeria, I can never pronounce their currency the right way. The naira. Our $100 bill is basically the equivalent of the median income for the month. So when we talk about getting products from Nigeria, if you purchase something from me, you are literally helping someone get by for the week. You're helping them make 2 weeks of their salary. We're literally changing different villages. My waist beads come from Ghana, so we are literally that butterfly effect. I don't mean to keep saying that, but we are literally impacting so many different people in so many different ways. There's nothing that you can come in and buy and it won't help someone. Like, you are a part of the collective, of the whole, of the vision.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's not small business Saturday, it's small business every day. It should be,
right.
It's a practice that we should really get into and look to, kind of changing our ways. I think with the pandemic, everybody's gotten used to going to, the online retailers, and, the big box stores are the ones that are able to remain open. And sadly, so many small businesses have had to shutter because they just can't survive. And I think it's wonderful to see yours as it's a little beacon of light that you can stay open. And you were, you espoused the desire to create. You use creativity to remain open. Here's a way to, for you to come in and feel safe and still shop safely with, the private hours. I don't know if that was yours originally. I don't know if there's other stores that do that, but you're not going to find that in your box chain. I know, I think Wawa did something where they said between 7 and 8, you could, and again, for people who are not local, Wawa is a convenience store that is local, mostly to the in Philadelphia area. I think there's a few in Florida now, but it's a convenience shop where, it's like your mini mart. And they would say between 7 or 8 and 8 a.m., this is the hours that, our elderly should come in. And well, the thing is, if I'm on my way to work and I want a coffee, I'm still probably going to stop in at Wawa and not think about it. But that was their way of trying to do that. You're able to really take it to the next level as a small business and say, hey, you want to come in, and I know you want something that I have for you. Here's a way to come in. Please come in and get it safely, and we'll accommodate you. And I think it's wonderful to be able to do that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I think, with the citizen body, that's really what we strive to do, is make things accessible for everybody. And a lot of times it might mean going that extra mile, thinking outside the box, getting that creativity to bring it to the person who needs it, who wants it. And, and it benefits everybody. So, and I really, I enjoyed hearing that about Nigeria and Ghana, when you think about like what that income means to them, because a lot of times, like, I know when we donate to certain charities. You know that some charities versus others, the overhead expenses are so high, and it's usually the ones that you hear more about. I don't want to name names, but some of the ones that you might hear more about that have executives and they've grown to such proportion, well, they need a constant influx of money to stay relevant, to do what they do. And I think they just get themselves on such a large scale that it turns into a big box chain of that particular charity. And when we work small, we're able to eliminate that CEO, that, you know, there's extra overhead, marketing, higher costs. You know, for us today, this is a little bit of marketing for you. This allows us to showcase your store, bring people in, and also educate with how, you know, working small is really working for the better of everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not from Nigeria. You know, so I don't really want to speak too much about the country, but the corruption on both sides, because in America, you'll have a company say, we give this company $1 million to give to Nigeria. Well, if they take, you know, $250,000 and then gives Nigeria $750,000, but then whoever's at the top in Nigeria, they take $500,000. So you really are only getting a quarter of that. That actually makes it to where it needs to go. Those aren't exact numbers, but it's on both sides. So I'm actually in conversations with trying to come up with different ways to bring income directly, whether it's call centers or different ways to bring it. I'll just leave it at that. And you guys are gonna have to wait and see, because I'm really motivated to see a change. And to get around the corruption. America is not the only place that suffers from corruption. It's all around the world. And so really, when you talk about the citizen body, it isn't just the American citizen body. It's really all of us everywhere, all around the world. And, you know, the hierarchy can be an issue. There is a lot of theft. There is a lot of misusage of funds. There is a lot of misappropriation of funds. So once we work small and work with one another, say if you were in Liberia and I could call you and say, hey, I'm going to send you this money and you send me something, and guess what? You could feed your family. But if you're in a program and I send $500 to the program, you are not getting that.
You're seeing a small fraction of that versus it's something that really does significantly make a difference. And I think that it's a beautiful illustration of why it's so important to work small. Yeah, working small is actually working bigger for the people that it's benefiting. Yeah.
Exactly.
So the store, the product, it's I Saw Visions, and right now we can find you. We can find you on Facebook. And you know what? We were talking in the very beginning. Show me that floor.
Okay. Well, remember, I moved my couch to talk to you.
Yes.
So I have to move it back because I moved the couch to the center of the room.
Yeah, you painted the walls, and
I painted we painted everything. Okay, so I moved the couch a little bit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
So as soon as you walk in, it just, excuse the
oh my gosh.
Around. But yeah, I literally like every detail. And I thought my landlord was gonna get upset.
Yeah. You just cut out.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I thought my landlord was gonna be upset because I asked him, I said, can I paint the floor? And he said, sure, just as long as you use some exterior paint and make sure it doesn't chip. I think he thought I was going to paint it one color. I'm not a
No, I wouldn't have expected that. If you said, can I paint the floor? I would expect it to maybe be lavender or something.
Yeah, no. Not in my line of work. So
show me that again. That's beautiful. Let me see that again.
I cannot wait for you to actually come in person. It's so much better in person. Sorry. I'm just moving the couch again. Hopefully they can figure that out.
Wow.
And actually that is her afro. with
Yeah.
signatures from all my
But
friends in it. All my
I
friends
love it.
came and signed. I saw visions all over the floor. So I actually want to, now that I'm building this family of artists, I really want to redo the mural on the floor like once a year. So it's
Yeah.
just something else to come see, because you have to come see this now because it might change. Or even if we do it twice a year, that way when we do murals, it's an imprint of the collective, of everyone's creativity and everyone's energy and love and prayers and hope and meditation. And every time you come in, I mean, it might just be different. You just never know. The
Yeah.
walls too. So it's really fun to play around with, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I love it. I did not expect that on the floor. That was a very pleasant surprise.
little treats.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have all kinds of stuff all over the store. But this is my sanctuary. I'll show you my sanctuary. This is, so typically in the front of a retail space, you would have like a mannequin and some clothes, but I decided to make this my art room. So that way I can paint right here in the window. So I don't know if you can see, but so when people
that was the front of the store. Like if I was peeking in the window.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Actually watch me and my friends as we create. So I have a section and my friends have a section, and you can rent the space to come create. If you wanted to come and have a glass of wine and paint by yourself and put on a record, we have that too. We have artist rental spaces if you needed a space for a meeting. You know, we've had recording artists. If you're a masseuse and you don't want to bring people to your house with COVID, you know,
Yeah.
you can set it up where you can have the space to yourself. And so man, it's like wonderful. Like I still can't even believe
that. I mean, seriously, you really embody the use of creative space where, you know, you're not just limiting yourself to a store, you are expanding it to whatever a person might need. That's amazing.
Right. And when it gets warm out, we're going to be doing meditation outside because there's a whole backyard. So we're going to have like BYOB poetry and comedy, social distance, of course, we'll spread everyone out. But I can't wait to have like our fitness and yoga and meditation and just be outside, because even if you're 10 feet away, we're still connected. We're still in the same space. We're still having that experience. So I'm just excited.
I mean, plus with again, we're all looking forward to the snow melting and getting into spring, right. and then because it is safer to gather outdoors than it is for indoors. I mean, I know every day when I go in to check off my child into daycare, you know, there's a COVID questionnaire, and has she participated in any activities that are not, you know, COVID sanctioned? And I'm like, oh, we did go to a restaurant, but I kept her safe. I kept her away from everybody. Nobody touches her, but you know, Sean and me. And yeah, it's, you know, and then when we can get outside and, you know, we can be a little bit more in the same space and still consider ourselves safer.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so grateful that I do have 5 kids, because with COVID, I didn't let my kids go back to school.
Yeah.
So they're just in the house, and half the time they love each other, half the time they can't stand each other. But I'm really glad that they have one another, because, you know, it's hard for kids. They need to socialize. They can't be by themselves. Like, and even for my kids, me having this store, they're so excited. They like to come to the store with me. You know, they want to play out back. They want to paint. They've been in the house for a year. This is really a hard time for everyone. And a lot of this is almost like the Renaissance period all over again, because people are delving into their creativity and finding their gifts and finding themselves. And, you know, people are like, I'm lighting my incense and gathering my thoughts and meditating in the morning and really getting to the wellness of mind, because for a while there, we forgot. We got so into the hustle and bustle, go to work, drop the kids off, pick up groceries, cook dinner, get them ready for bed, go to bed, do the same thing over and over and over. And when you get on that treadmill, when that changes, it's like we didn't know what to do. Like, wait,
Yeah.
what do you mean stay home with the kids and do what? It's like, but there's so many things that we can do, you know, reading with
Yeah.
them, talking with them. So it really shined a light on what we need as individuals. Everyone is focusing on their wellness right now, you know,
Yeah.
drinking more water. Or, you know, I had never heard of sea moss. I never tried sea moss before this year. There's just certain things that I'm grateful for. I mean, COVID sucks and it's terrible. People have lost their lives. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. People haven't been able to see their loved ones. People have died alone in the hospital. It's horrible. It's horrific.
Yeah.
But one thing that came out of it is us taking care of ourselves and trying to take care of one another, you know.
Yeah, it really does reinforce. And it's funny, like everybody's lifestyle is maybe a little, you know, is very, very different. For me, I work in healthcare. And when I come home, it's a sanctuary of, gee, I don't have to wear a goggles and mask to interact with someone. And, you know, like I can come home and take off my mask and like, you're dying to get out of the house. I'm dying to get into the house.
Right.
And, you know, my life, you know, sadly hasn't changed. And I know I'm saying that to somebody who might be envious of, you know, gee, life hasn't really changed, but it has too, because, you know, the going out and everything, it's not the same. And there's so many more rules to play by. And I don't think I would want to be a person who, you know, if I had a different career that, you know, I am in the house and I have nothing to do. And what am I going to do? I have to do something. And having to tap into that, COVID didn't force me to have to tap into that, but what, you know, it goes through my head, what if it had?
Yeah.
And would I have been a resilient person enough to find that creative outlet, to find that, you know, way to still give back, to give something, you know, it's
how
an important quality.
How did you deal with, I mean, I know you're saying that certain things didn't change, but honestly, the pressure, the anxiety, constant, you know, all the masks and all the protocols and the constant memos and the constant meetings, I'm sure you still had your fair share of being bombarded with the effects of COVID.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it's ongoing every day, but it's also something that, you know, it happened all of a sudden. And then, you know, employer, like you learn what the new thing is and you adjust. And it's constant making adjustments. And at this point, it's just kind of gotten to a lifestyle of this is the new normal now. And it's always something different and having to adapt and change with something else. You know, it's a different type of adaptation where I go there, I still spend the same amount of hours. And when I leave work, I come home and I'm me at home. I also happened to be pregnant during COVID.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I was pregnant during COVID. So when I learned about myself. Thank you. I found out that I was I always thought I was an extroverted person. I found out that I'm not the extrovert I thought I was. I enjoyed coming home. I enjoyed being a little more introverted. I enjoyed and it also made me feel like, gee, am I being selfish by saying that? You know, I'm not sure, but I know that I kind of preferred the smaller gatherings and hey, it's not, you know, 30 people hanging out on the deck. It's, you know, just maybe one or two and a more intimate conversation and spending more quality time with a smaller amount of people. I found that for me, that was really good. For my partner, who is way more of an extrovert, it's been a lot harder on him, but we're both in the same boat where we both work in a healthcare or healthcare related field. And we went to work every day and we came home every day. And a few things changed here and there. There were little adjustments in the beginning. When I had the baby and I went into the hospital during COVID, he and I were stuck in a room together. I was in the hospital for 5 days because of circumstances surrounding her birth. She's fine. Right. But, you know, you're thinking it's just going to be a couple of, you know, it's like 1 or 2 nights and then, you know, you come home with the baby. And it wasn't that for us. And we were stuck in this tiny little room. Well, we were kind of stuck together in the house for the last 6 months prior,
Right.
or like,
Right.
4 or 5 months prior to that. So it wasn't that big a jump, but now like our house went to a room and,
Right.
and like if he left, he could not come back in. And that was the rule.
Oh
So it's like,
my
okay, we need to adapt. And then,
Oh,
we brought her home. Family on my side is very small. On his side, it's very big. And, for me, like, I don't have my parents anymore. So it wasn't this, oh, gee, how's my mom going to meet the baby? How can my parents spend time with the baby? I didn't have that angst there because I unfortunately don't have that presence in my life anymore. But I do have other family members and friends that want to come and meet her and see her. And, we've had to say no. And then when, she started to go to daycare, I need to follow their rules. And it's not just about keeping my baby safe, but it's about a trust with the other parents that says, this is, this is okay. That, I promise that I'm not going to gatherings and taking her to places where maybe she's fine, but then she comes in and spreads it to your kid, and your kid
right.
comes home and spreads it to you. And
Right.
now you've got an
Right.
elderly person at home that I never knew about. And
Right.
there's
Absolutely. Yeah.
there's that respect and safety that you really still have to take into consideration. So where I can
Right.
sit there and say, gee, my life hasn't changed. It really has. It
Right.
hasn't, but a lot of the things that I would normally do, they're just not happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, this year has been a test of patience and endurance. And I don't know, like, I'm so conflicted because as an artist and as a mother of 5, I constantly try to find ways to make money around their schedule. I knew
Yeah.
I wanted to be there when they left for school, and I wanted to be there when they came home from school. And I stayed home with my kids instead of taking them to daycare because that was just our preference. So
Yeah.
me trying to make money around that proved to be a little bit difficult, but I ended up with, a few streams of income, and I was doing really good. And as far as my art, I would sell on South Street. I would sell everywhere, like nights, weekends. I was hosting bingo nights at bars. I was doing, I was an artist model for Jefferson University. These little odd jobs that added up to a
Yeah.
substantial income. And then, I really, as a mom and as someone who stayed in the house for so long and really depended on my husband solely financially, I felt like I was blooming. I felt like, oh, finally, I can leave the house and I can make some money, and it's not really affecting my kids because I'm doing it around. I felt so good about myself.
Yeah.
I actually got certified in Miami as a certified artist vendor, so I could sell art in Miami as well as here because I went to Art Basel and fell in love. And
Okay.
COVID hit. And
Yeah.
when COVID hit, literally, I got my vendor's license in February. I made 5 trips to Miami to solidify certain business connects and to get my business license and get my paperwork in order. When COVID hit, I couldn't be an artist model because Jefferson University closed. The bars weren't doing entertainment, so I couldn't host for bingo. I couldn't just go on the street and sell my art. Things changed so much. And
That shut you down.
I was devastated. And
Yeah.
so places like the SBA or different grants, they wanted a certain amount of proof of activity. I actually was denied, pandemic relief due to inactivity. And because my business started to take off the end of 2019, I really didn't have much between, I'd say, October 2019 and February 2020 were my highest earnings. That's when I started to really make significant income before COVID hit. And so I couldn't get a lot of the relief that other people got. So to have January and February be the height, and then a devastating valley of no money, uncertainty, I don't know what's going to happen. And then at the end of the year, to out of nowhere have a store come November, I got the keys. December, I painted, and I opened in January. It's mind blowing because
Yeah.
I literally thought that there was no hope. I was like, well, I'm going to have to go dance somewhere. Kidding, kidding, honey. I was like, what are we going to do?
And you'd have to wear the mask though.
Right. A mask. I'll be dancing in like a plastic trash bag or something. Like, you just have to visualize. Right.
The mask might be bigger than the other things that you're wearing.
Right. So, not to make fun of anyone that
No,
does that,
of course not.
but so I literally from January, February to have this height go all the way down, and really the last 2 months of the year soar back up. It really was a test of faith and hope and endurance and just, I don't know, going along for the ride. Like right now, I just feel like I'm going along for the ride. And I'm just like, whatever happens, I'm strong enough to get through it. And I'm strong enough to overcome it. And we all are, if we have one another to depend on. So if you find yourself in some sort of valley and it seems like everything is lost, I hope you reach out to me, because then you can lean on me the same way, I leaned on my husband, or I leaned on certain friends and family. Like, we can get through it. We will get through it. And we might come out better on the other side of it if we really, learn to trust one another and learn how to support one another.
Yeah, this is so true. Yeah. So this would probably be a good place for us to wrap up. So just to let everybody know, you were either listening or watching the Citizen Body podcast. Today was February 20th, 2021. And we had Sharia Wallace, and it was such a pleasure to have you on with us today and to talk.
You're now. So thanks, Sue.
You're welcome. So we'll wrap it up, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care. And I'm coming to the store. I don't know when, but I'm coming.
Doors always open for you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.